comes to vaulting. You know how to handle the occasion of a vault final. It's always an exciting one to watch, isn't it, Hugh? Because it is incredibly quick. There is very little time to get it right.
Absolutely. Unlike the other events where you could maybe make up a little bit here or there, vault is just one and done. There's very little room for error. It's quick, it's fast, and we will see. I'm excited for a great vault final. There's a great mix of countries being represented here today.
And an interesting mix of vaulting styles as well. We anticipate there might be some gymnasts like her, for example, who produce something a little different from qualification, and that's what's going to be interesting to see. Well, 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 because Joscelyn Roberson has indicated that she's going to do a couple of vaults that should quite significantly raise her difficulty. As a result, she could go from the 8th strongest in qualification to a serious contender. Lots of gymnasts are in this position, aren't they, Hugh? And you, I'm sure, have been in this position in the course of your career, where you've got something that's tried and tested in competition. You've also got something in the gym that you're working on that's going to give you some extra tense. How do you know when the time is right to bring in that more difficult vault?
Well, certainly safety is a main factor. You want to make sure that you have performed that vault that you've been practicing on and have put in the right amount of repetitions. You don't want to do something for the first time here on the world stage. That's definitely not the time to do it. But you definitely want to be safe, feel confident and prepared. And if you are, then there's really no holding back. This is the time to do it. It's the Worlds and it's the finals.
Do you have a sort of a set number almost in your head of I need to do it this many times in order to be secure of it? Or is it more a feeling of it? You just know that now the time is right?
Ollie, that's a great question. It really is a little bit of both. There are steps, of course, to performing the vault on different surfaces. There's harder surfaces, there's soft surfaces, so you really want to make sure this surface here, it's a hard landing. It's not a foam pit, it's not a soft mat. So it really comes down to a mix of certain landings on this surface plus that confidence, really.
And I suppose that's where you've got to have a really good coaching team around you who perhaps if you're leaning towards something that maybe isn't quite safe but you're ambitious, they're the ones that need to say to you, no, hold back for a moment.
Absolutely. I can say many times I was a little ambitious with my what I wanted to compete, and my coach would always, decide what was the smartest way to compete, and it did help me throughout the years.
Because sometimes, with the best of intentions, we are, all of us, poor judges of ourselves, aren't we? And we often need somebody just to stand back and have a more holistic picture.
Of course.
So the warm-ups drawing to a conclusion, and we are excited to begin this women's vault final. Best of fortune to all of the finalists, and congratulations to them on earning their place on this most illustrious of stages. What an interesting gymnast with which to begin. 26, a senior world championship debutant, back on the international stage for the first time since the Sao Paulo World Challenge Cup of 2015. There she won vault gold in her only international competition, but at national level she's been performing so strongly. This is Deng Yaan of the People's Republic of China. We anticipate a handspring Rudy, a Chusovitna at her opening vault.
Oh my.
My word. Oh, goodness me. Well, we've just been talking about that pressure that comes with competing in a major international final. At 26, she's waited for a senior world championship debut. She performed magnificently in qualification. And it is clear for all to see just what that has done in terms of how hard it's hit her. And you can have nothing but sympathy here, nothing but sympathy.
There really is no other way to experience this but do it yourself. There really is no way to explain the feeling.
Oh,
devastating.
Goodness. Remember, all of us remember, these are human beings first and foremost. Yes, we put a number by their name, we put a position on the leaderboard next to them, but they're people. And they have good days and they have bad days. And when they have their tough days at work, they do it in front of a big crowd of people on the international stage, and they deserve kindness when it doesn't go right.
It will be very important for her to regain that focus right now.
She scored 14.25 in the qualification process, 14.1 for her first vault. It's a big arena and it's a lonely place, isn't it?
It can be. So many things going through your head.
Well, we're just waiting for the go-ahead. Discussions at the judges' table reaching their conclusion soon, and we will, by the looks of things, see a second vault from Deng Yaan. Well, it's a very unusual start, isn't it, for a vault final?
Absolutely, and we're not sure what happened. We haven't seen the replay. But I think safety in this situation, that can really, really set you off your track.
We're not going to see Deng Yaan vaulting. From a safety point of view, that's a very wise decision, because there's no chance that she could contend.
Definitely at this point, where they average both vaults for a final score, because she doesn't have that first vault, can tell she's a little bit very, very disappointed with this. And
if you want to really appreciate her work, watch her performances at the Chinese Championship. She's a great vaulter. She really is. Joscelyn Roberson of the United States of America. 8th best in qualification, but already being indicated on the board is a vault of significant complexity by comparison to qualification. She had a 5.0 and a 4.2 in the qualifying round. We expect her to be way up in difficulty. She's an extremely good vaulter. Second time at the World Championships.
Let's take a look. Wow, that Yurchenko entry, the round off with the half turn onto the vault and the full twist off, slight hop on the landing. Excellent first vault. I think she'll take that.
That was nicely performed by 19-year-old Joscelyn Roberson.
Very nice. Slight knee bending on the end. Good push off the vault. It can be very difficult to compete after.
Yes, that's a very interesting point you make. We were talking about it at the start, how aware you are of the other athletes. They must all have been aware of what happened there to Deng Yaan, and as the first moment in the final, maybe a destabilizing one potentially for all.
Certainly, and that's where the mental toughness will come into play right here.
Secure start from Joscelyn Roberson. She waits, as we all do, for the number to come in. The gymnast who trains at the University of Arkansas. She endured a very unpleasant injury at the World Championships in Antwerp, despite being part of the US team that won the gold medal. She actually said that the injury meant that she focused on the things she'd neglected in her life, focused on family, focused on friends, which had become almost secondary concerns during heavy training.
You know, that can happen to athletes. They are so involved in their training, it can. Let's see her second vault.
13.966. So she gains an extra 2/10 of difficulty, not the full 6/10 of difficulty that the Chung would have given her, but it is a couple of tenths up from qualification. So overall, that's about a third of a mark gained from the preliminary round. Now we're going to see, we expect a double twisting Yurchenko. Indeed we do.
Similar entry vault to Yurchenko, this time without the half turn on, the double twist. Very common vault now performed on this level of the world stage. Very nice landing, good height. In a vault final, if you can do 2 good vaults, you're really going to have a good chance.
What is interesting here is that the difficulty score that she got for her second vault in qualification was only 4.2. It was not as it was intended. We're going to see a very transformed set of difficulty numbers for Joscelyn Roberson. We are likely to see a very transformed position on the leaderboard compared to 8th place in qualification, as we thought we would, knowing her capacity, knowing her potential on this apparatus.
That's right. I feel like that's a smart move. Get into finals and then perform 2 vaults that are a little bit difficult, that can get her into that medal standing. Always a joy to see athletes smiling and being happy.
Much to be happy with after that display from a gymnast who has had a very difficult time of things. And it's been a long wait for her to get to this vault final, having qualified for it at the last championships, but as I said, injured her ankle earlier in the competition. And there we go, 13.6 for the second vault, a 13.983 average score. She gains about 4/10 from qualification. Now that is really going to make for an interesting remainder of this final, because we've got a potential winner right there.
Yeah, that's huge. 4/10 in a vault final is huge.
There are others who have the numbers to go beyond it. But let's see. Lisa Vaelen of Belgium, 6th best in qualification. First vault coming up for her. This we expect to be very difficult.
Wow, very nice. That vault is extremely difficult. The handspring front somersault with the 1.5 twist.
She was the bronze medalist of all the European.
Very few gymnasts performing that vault. It is very difficult.
And she's very much made it her own, hasn't she, since surprising so many people with it at the Olympic Games in Tokyo.
Yes, just a slight pike down. The judges are going to deduct for that. The amount of power you need to go into that vault, tremendous. You can see the slight leg separation there.
Qualification score for this vault was 14. Let's see how the numbers compare. We certainly expect this to be significantly more complicated than the second vault for the Belgian. We should just remind you, or maybe introduce you to it if you're newer to watching gymnastics in this particular code of points, that in the women's competition, an additional 2/10 bonus is awarded if the gymnast performs 2 vaults that go in different directions coming off the table. So Joscelyn Roberson accessed that bonus. Lisa Vaelen, we expect also to gain those additional 2/10. We didn't have any gymnasts in qualification for this final who didn't pick up the 2/10 bonus. Out there in the regular season in World Cup competition or in continental championships, it's a little bit more hit and miss as to whether you're going to have a full slate of gymnasts who get the additional 2/10.
That makes perfect sense, this being the biggest competition at the highest level. You're going to see those great vaulters.
And we're going to see a great number there for Lisa Vaelen. 14.1, that's a 10th higher than the qualification phase. Second performance coming up for the 21-year-old. This, we imagine, will be a full twisting Tsukahara, 4.4 degree of difficulty. So she has a full mark of difficulty difference between the 2 vaults, if she does as she's intending.
Excellent. So not as difficult of the start value, but clean, 2 hit vaults. You can't ask for much more than that in a final.
As you say, very tidy display, very secure looking vaulting from Lisa Vaelen.
Excellent vault, and you can see very good push off the vault. Nice laid out position, her body's straight, spotting that landing.
This vault scored 13.233 in qualification. So in order for it to be a number that doesn't almost drag down the high point of that first vault, it's got to be extremely sharp from an execution perspective. It was in qualification, got close to 9. She's a gymnast who missed the last World Championships due to illness. It's wonderful that she's back. The Belgians had such a tough time in Antwerp in their home championships, very badly affected by injury and illness. One felt great sympathy for them.
It's great to see them back out of here, competing at a final.
Had a really long recovery process. She didn't actually begin training until March of 2024 after her illness, so no wonder she's overjoyed to be back. 13.866. She goes into the silver medal position. 13.233 for the second vault, exactly the same as qualification. Joscelyn Roberson holds on to the lead by almost a tenth of a mark. Let's continue. Anna Kalmykova, the 17-year-old, next to compete. Now, this is interesting. We imagine that she'll have the same difficulty for with the first vault as Lisa Vaelen did. Oh. It was the same vault.
Same vault. You can see the block off the vault was much lower. She didn't get enough height as she needed to. That under rotation landing with the hand down, that it will cost her some points.
What we expect is the second vault to be a little more difficult than Lisa Vaelen's by a couple of tenths, but there will be at least a full mark gone here for the hands going down.
But such a young gymnast, 17 years old. She has a great career ahead of her. This is all just experience.
Yeah, she is the second youngest in this final.
Just didn't get enough rotation off of the vault. Started that twist a little too soon.
And is this one of those things where it's simply a matter of just getting that vault out there more and competing it more in international competitions, or just getting used to doing it?
Absolutely. As long as the athlete's confident in performing it and they can do it safe, it is, I commend her for performing this difficult vault.
The scoring qualification was 14.1, exactly the same as the number we just saw from Lisa Vaelen for that Chusovitna vault, the handspring Rudy. Feels right to mention Oksana Chusovitna when we have a German next up at the vaulting table. Karina Schoenmaier will be starting the second half of this final. The gymnasts who are in the second half are now starting to go through their warm-up process. Just waiting on the sidelines for their chance to actually attack the table. 12.866 for Kalmykova. So it is a drop of about a mark and a third from the preliminary round. Second vault coming up for the young gymnast, the 17-year-old. The 1.5 twisting Yurchenko is the vault that she is indicating.
Wow. Excellent execution there. You could see the feet were together, good height, great stick.
Wasn't that a nice vault? And didn't that show real strength of character to come and produce that after the first one?
Absolutely. That's one of the strongest things as a gymnast, being able to get up after a fall, perform a great vault like that. Excellent job.
Let's look at this lovely Yurchenko 1.5 again.
Excellent form, feet together.
She has a very straight body position, doesn't she,
Very
in the
nice.
apex of the vault. Keeps the heels nicely together, gets the arms in front of the body. It's very precise looking.
You know, there's no better feeling than sticking a vault, I'll tell you that.
You're reminiscing, aren't you, about those moments for you? Quite central as well. It's a difficult vault, isn't it? Because of the gymnast's lack of sense of where the mat is as they come out of it.
Yeah, some would say it's a blind landing.
Now, this vault scored 13.333 in qualification. She did have a penalty tenth deducted from it. 13.199 is the average score, 13.533 for the second vault. So overall, she has dropped down by about 0.8 of a mark. We still have Joscelyn Roberson leading the way at the halfway stage. Kalmykova in the bronze medal position, Lisa Vaelen in second place. Still to come, we have her, the all-around champion, Angelina Melnikova, bronze medalist on vault at the 2021 World Championships in Kitakyushu, and now the reigning, as of yesterday, two-time all-around champion of the world. We're going to see Karina Schoenmaier of Germany. She'll get the second half of the final started. Lia-Monica Fontaine of Canada. There is an exciting prospect, the youngest in the final. And we'll conclude with Charlize Moerz of Austria. In terms of difficulty, we expect her, Melnikova, to have quite handsomely the highest difficulty of anyone. So we'll see if it transpires thus, because in qualification she produced a double twisting Yurchenko and a Chung, 5.0 and 5.6. We anticipate Moerz to have the lowest difficulty of anyone in the second half, a 4.6 for a handspring on front layout half off, and a full twisting Sukahara, 4.4. So let's now wait and see if that transpires. There's a lot of excitement, isn't there, in Canada about Lia-Monica Fontaine?
Certainly is. The Canadian team has a great mix of the two veterans, Vaelen and Ellie Black, with two of the younger gymnasts coming up, and so I imagine that the dynamic is just great with kind of a little bit of both there.
Yes, a lot for the younger athletes to learn, and also for the more experienced athletes, a lot to learn from the youngsters and to be challenged by them.
Absolutely.
Karina Schoenmaier is the next gymnast to go. You're looking at the reigning champion of Europe, and she also won the inaugural mixed team gold medal, co-won it, one should say, along with an overall team silver. It was a stunning championships for her in Leipzig, in her home country. The 20-year-old is from the city of Bremen. She also made the all-around final here as one of the top qualifiers, the 6th best qualifier. In 2023, she was the 44th best. So she's come on leaps and bounds.
There it is.
Wow.
Wow. Excellent landing, beautiful position. We'll have to take a look at that replay. It looked like her hands did not really get on the vault. Let's take a look here, but excellent execution there.
Now this is extremely interesting.
Very nice.
That was a hugely impressive vault from Karina Schoenmaier.
Done with such ease.
It was done with ease, wasn't it?
It looks like it.
Looked incredibly simple. Seemed to have an absolute age.
The replay showed she wasn't quite turned 180 onto the vault. I'm wondering if the judges are going to take a look at that.
So we wait for the score. 14.033 for that first vault in qualification. Roberson leads on 13.983, but there's no doubt that Schoenmaier has got the complexity of vaulting to go beyond that. await the score, we await the evaluation from the judges' table. And the wait goes on, an anxious wait for the German delegation. 1 silver, 1 bronze for the unified Germany in the women's vault competition at the World Championships, both won by Oksana Chusovitna. Leading the way, Joscelyn Roberson of the USA. The USA have won 3 of the last 5 women's vault titles at the World Championships. This is the bit that all athletes are used to, isn't it? The delay and handling the delay.
Yeah, it really, you got to be focused and prepared and just not let anything outside distract you, get you outside of that zone, as they say.
Can you train that?
It's a great question, Ollie. It really is difficult because every situation is different. Every competition is different. The stands are different, you know, so there are so many variables. I think what you can train is yourself, just staying inside your, thinking about what you need to focus on really is the most important.
And that's something that elite athletes do extremely well. But it can't be an organic, natural process for everyone. It must be that some find it a harder thing to master than others.
Definitely, of course. And again, focusing on what you know you need to do to perform this vault, I think is a great way to really just stay focused.
That's interesting.
Could be what I pointed out with the turn.
12.533. She looks surprised by that.
has been submitted, ladies and gentlemen, on the difficulties of Karina Schoenmaier.
Well, what we understand is it may be that you mentioned that there wasn't a great deal of contact on the table. 2 marks may have been lost for support with only one hand.
Wow, and that was extremely nice. Yurchenko double twist. The height alone gave her enough time to beautiful landing there.
That was an extraordinary second vault from Karina Schoenmaier. Now, she looks rather amused. Just to come back to that score, a low score, 12.533 for the first vault. It may be that she's lost a full 2 marks for only having the vault supported with one hand.
Yeah, that's not something very common.
And we've just had confirmation now. It's come up on our scoreboard. Full 2 mark penalty. So that
Wow.
She upgraded to perform the Chung vault, which was the vault. We talked about it at the start in the warm-up that she'd been training something of a higher degree of difficulty. She added 6/10 of difficulty, but lost 2 marks in penalties, and as a result ended up with a substantially lower score than qualification. It's really unfortunate that for Karina Schoenmaier.
And she did it with one hand.
That's the level of power that gymnast has got. And we see the power there in the extraordinary second vault, the double twisting Yurchenko. I mean, we must remind ourselves that that is an opening vault for many gymnasts.
That's right.
That's the more complicated vault for so many across the world.
Certainly unfortunate there.
13.483, 14.033 for the second vault. So yes, we do have that formal confirmation of the 2 full marks penalty for Karina Schoenmaier. Now, watch this gymnast carefully. She is really exciting. 16-year-old Lia-Monica Fontaine from Canada. 3rd best performer in qualification. Double twisting Yurchenko, we imagine. To begin. Oh,
Excellent from the young Canadian. She certainly has had some great examples of vault finalists to follow. She's happy with that.
Well, she's the reigning Pan American champion on floor. She also won a silver medal with the team in the all-around and on this apparatus, and completed a full set of colours with bronze on the uneven bars. So she really is a splendid prospect for the Canadian team. Lots of power, lots of elevation.
And such a young athlete. She has so many years ahead of her. I'm excited to watch the future of her. Many more finals, I suspect. This was a great first vault.
I think you're not the only one who's excited to watch where she goes. She's attracted the attention of the gymnastics fan base, the knowledgeable folk worldwide who follow this sport day in, day out, and they've known for many years she's been coming through the system. They've been excited about her arrival on the senior circuit, and this is why. It's not just a powerful vault, it's a tidy vault as well. It's a very secure looking one.
Yes, well, it had everything. It had the power, the height, everything the judges are looking for. Great landing.
Gymnast from the southwest of Quebec. 13.933, very close to qualification. Just a small drop of about a 10th.
Her family cheering her on there. I met them the other day in the lobby. Wonderful people.
Nervous people right now.
Yeah.
Proud people as well. Now the round-off half-on front layout with a half twist is due to be the second vault, the Lopez. She's doing well.
Beautiful. Wow. So just with the half turn, not as high as difficulty, but the execution was there. This could bring out an excellent score.
There is no doubt that she's going to be in and around the podium with 2 to go. Just a question of where she'll be. Let's look again at this lovely second vault.
The height off the vault, very nice. Clean position, not a break.
She gets into the laid out position with a real sense of flourish, doesn't she? It's authoritative.
She's flying. You can see, wow, there. Very nice.
A silver medal for Shellen Olsen in 2018, the only Canadian success in the women's vault competition at the World Championships. She's certainly going to make a good case to be the next one to get onto the podium.
Certainly with 2 vaults like that, she has a shot.
Lia-Monica Fontaine, remember the name. As if you're going to forget it after that performance. Welcome to the world stage, to this 16-year-old, the youngest in the final. Exciting to see that she's capable of that degree of difficulty, but not just that difficulty, that precision.
Oh, wow.
She's in the lead. She's guaranteed a medal. 14.033. You are looking at just the second Canadian woman ever to get on the podium in this event at the World Championships, and thrilled loved ones and senior squad members watching on.
Excellent. What a feeling.
We told you she was good, didn't we?
Yes.
Now to Angelina Melnikova, the top performer in qualification, 14.499. We imagine a pretty sizable difficulty cushion here. She could have 8/10 of difficulty extra over Fontaine.
Beautiful. Yurchenko double twist. You could notice the height right away, the push off the vault. Small hop on the landing. It has to be very difficult to come off of a night of being the world champion to compete right the next day in the vault final.
Gets plenty of amplitude. Has a little leg separation, no doubt about that. .233 was her qualification score.
Very nice.
She gets substantial distance away from the table. It's 14.1 for Angelina Melnikova, not quite as strong as qualification. Now this is where it could well be that Melnikova has the edge over Fontaine from a difficulty perspective. There's only one gymnast to go after this. The vault being indicated is the Chung, which is a 5.6 difficulty vault. Fontaine's second vault was a 4.8.
So different than Lia, where she has another high valued vault. There it is. Wow, certainly impressive. Two difficult vaults performed very well.
And certainly likely to go into the lead, and quite convincingly into the lead.
Again, saw some slight leg separation there, but good landing, small little hops, and very happy with that, I imagine.
High degree of difficulty is going to certainly propel her into a leading position with just one gymnast to go. But from the perspective of Lia-Monica Fontaine, she's almost a decade younger than Angelina Melnikova. She's at the early stage, the very earliest stage of her senior career. There's no shame in taking second place behind a gymnast of that degree of experience.
Definitely not.
We'll be in a position to confirm two medalists after this score has come in. Fontaine, we know, is one of them. We expect Melnikova to be another. The only gymnast to go is Charlize Moerz, the Austrian who scored 13.666 in qualification. But that would, as things currently stand, put her out of the top three. There we go, we have the leader, and we almost certainly have the world champion. 14.466 for Angelina Melnikova, a 14.433 for her Chung. The second vault, the highest difficulty. And that brings us to the last gymnast, Melnikova and Fontaine on the podium. Joscelyn Roberson waits to see if she is secure. Charlize Moerz of Austria, the last to go. The only Austrian woman to win a vaulting medal at the World Championships, Gertrude Kolar in 1950, the late Gertrude Kolar.
Oh.
Well, she managed to land it at least, but it wasn't as intended.
No, so that was just the half turn. I believe she possibly got lost in the air. This happens sometimes.
Has happened to her before. Unfortunate that, again, it happens on a very big occasion. But from a safety point of view, she gets upright, she gets round, and she comes down to earth.
Yeah, if there is ever any mistake like that, you definitely want to be able to at least land in a safe way, and she clearly does here, and will lose on some of the difficulty, but better to be safe.
And is it fair to say it's one of the very first things that you learn when you embark upon gymnastics training is how to safely get out of an error?
Absolutely.
Well, it won't be close to the 4.6 difficulty score that she was targeting. So only a 3.8 difficulty score, 12.7 for that vault for Charlize Moerz. It is down by almost a full mark from qualification. In fact, it's just over a full mark, excuse me. Second vault coming up for her, indicating the full twisting Tsukahara as her second vault. 4.4 difficulty.
Okay, great Tsukahara, full twist, laid out position, small hop. I think in moments like this, really you just learn from these experiences and move on. And
there's not a gymnast in the world that it hasn't happened to.
Exactly, it's just all part of the sport.
And I think it's very interesting that we started with a gymnast who had something very unexpected happen. We finished with a gymnast who had something very unexpected happen. And you made that point in the warm-up that there's an immediacy to vault, there's a quickness to it that doesn't give you much time to react, doesn't give you much time to respond.
It's very quick, it happens super fast. And there's, like I said, there's not much room for error.
Actually, from Charlize Moerz's perspective, it's remarkable that she managed to pick up a score as high as 12.7 when that didn't go according to plan. She rescued as much as she possibly could have done.
Very good point.
She is already very experienced, despite only just having turned 20. Celebrated her birthday a couple of weeks ago. 13.133, so she's in 7th position. And what that means is that we can confirm the podium. And we can let you know that Angelina Melnikova has won 2 gold medals in 2 days. That Lia-Monica Fontaine of Canada, the youngest in the final, has won a silver medal, equaling the best ever performance by a gymnast from her nation in this event at the Championships of the World. And Joscelyn Roberson of the USA, oh, she waited for that chance. And she believed in herself, believed that it would come again, and it did, and she's on the podium. Many different stories to tell in this women's vault final, but I'll let you have the last word as the maple leaf flies high.
It's great to see, it's great for Canada. It's great to see young athletes coming up, performing on this world stage and performing well. The amount of mental toughness and confidence it takes to come into this final competing against experienced gymnasts, it takes a tremendous, it shows a lot about the potential of this young gymnast, and for everybody, congratulations. We saw some great vaults.
The classified results in the women's vault competition: bronze to Joscelyn Roberson of the United States of America, silver to Lia-Monica Fontaine of Canada, and the gold medal to Angelina Melnikova. We're going to pause just for a moment in terms of the action. We've got 2 victory ceremonies to come, and also a special award to be presented, the Fujitsu Infinity Award. So don't go too far away. We'll bring you those scenes of celebration in just a moment, and then return with 3 more apparatus finals. More to come.
Charlize